The more I ate it, the more brain fog I was getting, the more bloated I was feeling, the more gas and indigestion I was getting. I was definitely gaining weight, a lot of water retention everywhere, especially my belly and my cheeks. Hey SB fam, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Bella the Steak and Butter Gal. I hope you all are having a meaty day, and as usual, drop a comment down below and let me know how you all are doing on your journeys. The holidays are coming up and I have definitely been socializing a lot more than usual, which means meals outside of the house, a lot of family dinners with my fiance side of the family. And it's definitely been inspiring me to reflect a little bit on how my carnivore lifestyle has evolved over the past 5 years. So in this video, I thought I would share with you 10 foods that I realized I no longer eat as a 5-year carnivore. If you are new to carnivore, don't sweat these details. Giving carnivore diet 6 months where you get to eat whatever your heart desires, that is carnivore, is the absolute best way to go about it. After 6 months is a good time to start tweaking, cutting out certain ingredients, adding in some new ones, doing different types of modalities. I am now 5 years into this carnivore lifestyle, and I have to say I have come a very long way in how I have evolved. Year 1 of my carnivore diet, I had so much I wanted to heal. Because of that, I did keep my carnivore diet a little bit more limited. I really exclusively ate fatty steak, ground beef, pasture-raised eggs, and butter. I felt the best eating those foods. And also my body was crying out for specifically those foods, anything that was high fat beef and all of the butter. From that first year of being a little bit more limited and strict to today, within that time frame, I've had the pleasure to experiment all types of ways, 10 foods that I was able to write down. I don't play around with these foods anymore. The first one is probably gonna break a lot of hearts, but I've played around with it. I know it is a slippery slope for me personally, and that is cheese, but specifically pasteurized cheese. I love cheese, and anytime I do indulge in cheese, I make sure that it is high quality, raw, unpasteurized. Raw and unpasteurized cheese is very different from conventional grocery store cheeses that are labeled as pasteurized cheese. Raw cheese has that delicious, intense flavor, but it also gives you the benefits of those amazing enzymes, probiotics, and bacteria that is so good for our digestion. This is maybe why you will notice that when you eat raw, unpasteurized dairy products of any kind, it digests easier. It does not tend to inflame as hard as pasteurized dairy products. I think I really learned my lesson and discovered that pasteurized cheese is just a no-go for me when I went back to China to take care of my dad. I was in China for about 4 months total, and because I was my dad's main caretaker through his cancer journey, I really leaned on convenient, processed carnivore foods, specifically lots of pasteurized cheeses like brie and gorgonzola cheese, and they were all pasteurized. I ate that cheese every single day, and I noticed the more I ate it, the more brain fog I was getting, the more bloated I was feeling, the more gas and indigestion I was getting. And on top of that, I was definitely gaining weight. I started feeling a lot fluffier, a lot of water retention everywhere, especially my belly and my cheeks. When I start gaining weight or when I start having more inflammation in my body, that is where I see it and feel it first. And I think the worst thing about eating pasteurized cheese is, for me, I know my tendencies. I am not a moderator by any means. This actually applies to a lot of aspects of my life. It is extremely easy for me to be hooked and only eat cheese all day long, overeat this food, and in return find it incredibly difficult to quit eating it. And that's exactly what I did for a lot of the days when I was taking care of my dad. I was stressed out, I was worried, my cortisol level was high. I wasn't sleeping well either. I'm glad I had that because at least I was able to stay carnivore, but it most definitely was a big learning lesson. It opened my eyes to exactly how inflammatory pasteurized cheeses can be. And it also opened my eyes to how my addictive personality and tendencies are still very much there. So I do have to keep tabs on what I am comfortable with eating, allowing back into my diet, and what I really need to set up a boundary and say no to. So that's why I'm confident right now to say that I'm not going to play around with pasteurized cheeses because I already felt, saw, and experienced just how inflammatory and dangerous they can be. It is a different story when it comes to raw, unpasteurized cheeses. I have seen it at every Costco I've ever shopped at. They always have my favorite cheese ever, raw Gruyere. It's a Swiss cheese. I'll put up photos. It's an excellent cheese if you're in the mood for cheese. Second food that I'm happy to say goodbye to is farmed seafood. I specifically have to note farmed seafood. I love my seafood. I am totally a surf and turf gal. Whenever I want to treat myself or whenever I'm having a celebratory meal with family, with friends, I always include seafood because it just steps up that carnivore meal big time. I just no longer eat farmed seafood. I understand that farmed seafood is just so much more affordable, so much cheaper, so much more accessible than wild-caught seafood. But if you really do the research and inform yourself about the risks of eating farmed seafood, you'll quickly learn that a lot of farmed seafood will have residues of antibiotics in them. And that means we are ingesting these harmful antibiotics. In addition to antibiotics, farmed seafood is often exposed to chemical contaminants like pesticides and disinfectants. These substances can definitely accumulate in the fish and the seafood products. So this is why anytime I do eat seafood, I just make sure that it is high quality, wild caught. I also treat it as an excellent opportunity to support local family-owned businesses and seafood shops. This is why I buy my wild caught seafood at my local Pike Place Market, which is super famous and legendary here in Seattle. I get my wild caught seafood from an amazing online source called Sitka Seafood Market, and all of their seafood is wild caught and straight from Sitka, Alaska. I'll make sure to link them down below if you're interested in checking them out. Third food, and this is a beverage, but it's actually a huge change that I've made in my carnivore diet. So big that I actually had this beverage my first 4 years, from day one all the way up to year 4. It wasn't until this year when I went to China that I really changed it completely. Honestly, just cut it out completely. I don't even touch it anymore, okay? And upon cutting it out, it has actually made a huge difference in how I feel overall, definitely how my digestion is throughout the day. And that is iced water, iced beverages, anything that is iced with ice cubes, chilled, or just iced in general. Anything that is cold, I do not drink anymore. And I actually learned this tip from my own mom. If you are Asian, especially if you are Chinese, okay? You might have heard of this crazy notion that drinking cold liquids, cold beverages, cold drinks is harmful to digestion. It's just not good for our qi, Q-I, it's a Chinese word, basically our energy balance. And I thought it was woo-woo stuff. Trust me, I really thought my mom was crazy and so annoying because she would not allow me to drink anything cold. Everything she served me in her house when I was with her, warm, hot, room temperature. Even when it was boiling hot outside in China, I still had to drink warm, hot, room temperature liquids. And by the time I was there for a couple weeks, it became a habit, just like anything else. And I started not really minding that it was warm, hot, room temperature. Now, when I got back home to the States, I went immediately back to my iced beverages. And guess what? I didn't feel as good. My digestion wasn't as smooth. I started having gas the first few days of reintroducing that iced cold water. With my sparkling water, I just drink it room temperature now, and I can still easily enjoy it. This is actually something quite neutral and harmless to play around with, especially if you're new to the carnivore diet. Feel free to experiment with the temperature of your water. It might actually make a pretty good impact on your overall digestion. The next category is cured meats, processed meats, deli meats, cold cuts that you often see on charcuterie boards. I leaned on those heavily when I was my dad's caretaker in China because, again, I needed convenience in carnivore meals. So I ate a lot of pasteurized cheese, but I also ate lots of cured deli cold cut types of meats. And again, same symptoms: bloat, brain fog, weight gain, water retention, inflammation, poor sleep. I just didn't feel the best version of myself and I just felt fluffy. I get that these types of foods are fantastic carnivore snacks to bring on the go, but there are better options out there. Carnivore crisps, carnivore bars are my go-to snacks and on-the-go types of carnivore foods and snacks. I have linked everything that I've mentioned in this video down below in the description box. And for those who will be extra busy through the holidays, I did want to share a convenient and healthy option. I've been loving Factor meals for their convenient, easy to cook meals that I can just take out of my freezer, cook up for my fiance steak and butter guy, especially when he has work every day. He comes home starving or he comes home from the gym. Let me show you all of the meals that I got here. Indian butter chicken and beef casserole, creamy Parmesan chicken, Tuscan tomato chicken, turkey chili, and cheesy chicken and peppers. Steak and butter guy is not fully carnivore, but he enjoys a low carb, animal-based type of lifestyle. And he tells me every day that he feels the best when he eats more meat, less sugar, less processed foods. So let me show you how I make these Factor meals. I prefer to cook them in the oven. I set the temperature to 375 degrees Fahrenheit and cook it for 7 minutes. After 7 minutes, I just pop them out, plate them, and I serve them to steak and butter guy. It's super easy peasy. Time for a taste test with my fiance steak and butter guy. Here he is. So we have a beef casserole and a turkey chili. Beautiful. Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know the food that they make is just bomb. Love it. It's like restaurant quality food.
Yeah, last time you said it tastes like Chipotle, but better. Is this still that standard?
Yeah.
So this one right here is the turkey chili. Awesome.
It's really good.
Which one's better?
All right, so
The beef.
casserole.
Definitely.
Thank you for cooking, baby.
You're so welcome. If you guys are interested in checking out Factor as well, just head to factor75.com and use my discount code SBGAL50 for 50% off your first box. I will make sure to also link it down below in the description box. Sparkling water. I definitely love my sparkling water still. 5 years in, since day one, I have loved sparkling water. But I will note that I never drink flavored sparkling water. So I know there's this brand called Bubbly. A lot of carnivores love it. They have like grape flavored sparkling water, lemon flavored sparkling water, and they claim that there is no stevia, or actually there might be stevia, but I definitely have seen sparkling waters with these flavorings in it. I don't really want to play around with it because, again, I'm not a moderator. I definitely have an addictive personality, and I just don't want to trigger anything with that sweet or seemingly sweet flavor in my drinks that could trigger any type of old sugar craving voices in me. It is already so dormant and it has been for so long, and I don't feel a desire to have to drink flavored sparkling waters to bring myself joy and pleasure. If you're new and you're loving your flavored sparkling waters and you are having a great time as a newbie carnivore, please continue to enjoy it. This is absolutely not a tip or a recommendation that you need to cut it out. This is, again, my own personal preferences. Now, this leads us to sweeteners. I really want to just talk about this category because a lot of carnivores come into this lifestyle continuing to include their sweeteners like stevia or even their electrolytes that have sweeteners in it. I personally have never played around with these seemingly harmless sweeteners, not even when I was vegan, definitely not when I was standard American diet, because when I was on that diet, I was eating the real deal, cane sugar, refined sugar. But I do see enough in my community, the steak and butter gang, that if you find that you still are having sugar cravings, munchies late at night, desires to want to have carbs or sugary foods or desserts, or just having difficulty staying consistent and on track with carnivore for a long period of time, I have to point out, if you still are ingesting any type of artificial sweeteners like stevia, even if they're snuck in your daily electrolyte mix, that could be the sole reason why you still have sugar cravings, carb cravings, late night munchies, and difficulty staying on track as a carnivore. Check the ingredients in whatever you add to your coffee, and definitely check the ingredients to your flavored sparkling water if there's any artificial sweeteners. Check the ingredients in your electrolytes. I wanted to touch on seasonings, spices, things that I no longer eat. This is a very personal preference. I am 5 years into the carnivore diet. I have played around with all types of different experiments, one ingredient at a time. With seasonings, I have tried adding back in black pepper, I have tried adding in white pepper, which is a lower oxalate version. The whole concern around pepper is that it has oxalates. So when you're fully adapted to the carnivore diet, having a lot of pepper in your meals could be that last source of inflammation that is still causing your autoimmune issues to flare up. So this is such a minor tweak and such a minor adjustment that I would not sweat it right now, again, if you're new. But let's say you're ready to tweak, have some fun, play around. Try playing around with cutting out the pepper or whatever seasonings, spices you are using, and really observe how is it making you feel, mood-wise, energy-wise, even soreness after working out hard. I have heard a lot of carnivores report back when they cut out the spices, seasonings, peppers, they notice they aren't as sore after working out. Sometimes when I go visit Steak and Butter Guy's mom's place and she cooks us these amazing dinners, she definitely tries her best to make it clean and carnivore as possible. But there are some dishes, sprinkles on spices or seasonings. I eat it and immediately I have a blocked, clogged nose. I have a runny nose. I just have congestion in my nose. It is that obvious. And yes, my body is truly that reactive and sensitive because I've been eating such a clean carnivore way of eating for such a long time. So any minute detail that changes or any fluctuation in the way that I eat, I immediately feel symptoms. Go-to one is congestion in my nose. If you're feeling overwhelmed or shaky in your confidence of staying carnivore, come join my carnivore community, the Steak and Butter Gang. You will be able to work with me and my team of carnivore coaches and learn from my fantastic panel of guest doctors and speakers, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Tony Hampton, Dr. Sean O'Mara, Sean White, the Intentional Carnivore, Dr. Robert Kiltz, and Rebecca Heischman. You will be able to submit all of your carnivore questions, ask for advice and troubleshooting from this incredible carnivore team who just wants you to succeed. You can go to sbgmeetup.com as shown on the screen, or click the links down below in the description box for more details. The water retention definitely tends to happen more when I introduce salt again. So yes, I'm one of those no salt carnivores that are very few in the carnivore community. I know that I'm more of an anomaly when it comes to me not eating salt at all. This tends to always confuse a lot of carnivores. And again, if you're new to carnivore and you are feeling amazing or you're feeling better and better with so much salt, I highly recommend you continue salting the way that you've been salting. Amber O'Hearn is one of the OG veteran carnivores who also does not eat any salt. And she says that she gets all of her electrolytes, minerals that are needed for our body through her carnivore meals. I personally love my beef, my steaks, incredibly rare, blue rare, basically raw with a delicious flash sear on the outside. And so this is why I really believe I am getting plenty of electrolytes and minerals to support my body and energy levels through the meats that I eat, through the eggs that I eat, and definitely through all of the seafood, wild-caught seafood that I indulge in. Symptoms of when I do add back in salt, I feel incredibly lethargic. I feel very sleepy. Even after sleeping like 8-9 hours throughout the day, I just feel heavy, sleepy, and drowsy. So it doesn't really support my energy levels, my mental clarity, the amount of productivity that I like to have every single day. And yes, I have experimented with the highest quality salt, red mint real salt. And when I do add it back in, even in small amounts, it only negatively affects my sleep and my energy levels. 7th category is organs. I personally don't eat organs. I definitely had a whole phase when I was newer to carnivore, I think around year 2 mark, when I played around with organs a lot. I tried pretty much all the organs I can get my hands on, and I exclusively ate them raw, by the way. That is the best way, most nutrient dense and absorbable way to enjoy the benefits of organs. I did see a benefit to my skin. When I ate liver raw every day, or I think I ate it every other day, and the way that I took that raw liver was I would cut it into little pieces, freeze them up, and just swallow them down with my water. But at that time, I was still very much wanting to heal my skin. I was still very much deep in acne scars and pigmentation and still some rosacea on my face. So having that raw liver definitely helped. So do I recommend having organs? If you want to incorporate it. Organs are truly a superfood. They pack so many amazing nutrients in such a small amount. And my go-tos were definitely liver, heart, and kidney. I had all of those raw, okay? I'm just a very lazy, low effort type of cook in the kitchen. And if I could have it no cook, just raw, eat it immediately, that's just the preferred way that I wanted to eat it. So why don't I eat organs now anymore? Because honestly, I feel so good. I am very happy with the condition of my skin now, even not eating any organs at all. I can eat whatever I truly desire to eat as a carnivore and still be able to effortlessly meet my daily goals of energy, mental clarity, physique of my body and composition of my body, and definitely the condition of my skin. At the moment, I don't really want to put in the effort to go shop for organs, to have to deal with eating them. I don't love the flavor of organs. And do let me know if you are an organ lover because you actually love the flavor and taste of organs. I'd love to know which cuts of organs you enjoy eating most. Eighth category of food that I do not eat, lean meats. I just don't play around with lean meats. They don't deliver the amount of fats that my body needs. I am a very high fat carnivore gal, steak and butter gal, both very high fat carnivore foods. And I think eating lean meats, I would only reach for it if there was really nothing else that I could eat that was carnivore. It's dry, difficult to cook well, and it does not satiate me at all. I don't enjoy eating it. It hurts my jaw because it is so tough. I've definitely been to dinners, family dinners, where they serve me really lean meats. I just go home and I cook myself a proper high fat, fatty, juicy, delicious carnivore meal. The ninth category of food that I really dislike is aged lamb. I don't know what it is about aged lamb. I just cannot swallow it. It has such a funky, gamey flavor. I just don't understand how carnivores love that gamey flavor. And it just might be a personal preference, but I did put a poll up on Instagram once asking, do you also dislike that strong, intense, gamey flavor of aged lamb? And I did have quite a good chunk of people who voted, yes, I also dislike it. When I eat it and the moment I taste that flavor, I just spit it out. It's just that repulsive to me. I don't know why I hate it so much, but that's another food that I really never eat. The last and final food is processed hot meats. So what I mean by this is sugar-free sausages, sugar-free bacon. I just don't really have any desire to eat these because they often are packed with nitrates and they are also very high in histamines. They're also heavily seasoned. So earlier I said I don't feel best on seasonings and I don't feel best on salt. Well, sausages and sugar-free bacon always have a lot of salt in it and a lot of seasonings. So this is just another food that I see no point in adding to my diet because it's only going to add inflammation. It's only going to make me feel worse the next day, and it's only going to give me water retention. So those three are enough cons for me to just stay away from it, not buy it for myself. I do, however, buy them and cook them for my fiance steak and butter guy because that definitely keeps him on track with his animal-based way of eating. And this is another reason why I have been saying repeatedly throughout this video that if you're new or newer to the carnivore diet, you should really lean on all of these foods and ingredients that I listed. I only stay away from these foods because I am 5 years in, half a decade actually. That's so interesting to say it like that. I'm half a decade in as a high-fat carnivore gal. And at this point, I am so in tune with my body, what makes me feel good, what makes me feel excellent, what makes me feel a little bit less than good. If you are newer to carnivore and you do want to lean into those options that are sugar-free, non-toxic, clean, and high quality, I have a whole list of my favorite sugar-free sausages, bacon, cured meats, cheeses, snacks, on-the-go, travel-friendly foods that you all can order online, super easy to order and enjoy. They're all delicious. I have tried all of them. Steak and Butter Guy to this day still loves all of them. These are our favorite carnivore snacks and essentials linked down below in the description box. And finally, if you're feeling overwhelmed or shaky in your confidence of staying carnivore through the holiday season, I welcome you all. Come join my carnivore community community, the Steak and Butter Gang. You will be able to work with me and my team of carnivore coaches, Coach Raymond and Coach Emily, and learn from my fantastic panel of guest doctors and speakers, Dr. Anthony Chafee, Dr. Tony Hampton, Dr. Sean O'Mara, Sean White, the Intentional Carnivore, Dr. Robert Kiltz, and Rebecca Heischman. You will be able to submit all of your carnivore questions, ask for advice and troubleshooting from this incredible carnivore team who just wants you to succeed and thrive. We have 6 hours of live Zoom calls every single week for you to hop onto, ask your questions, listen in and learn, and you get access to every single Zoom recording to watch on your own time if you're busy or an international member. You do not have to slip up this holiday season again and end up falling back into the carb hole, not being able to get out, and gaining 10, 20, 30 pounds on top of it. You do not have to feel terrible and back to being addicted to carbs and sugar. Just align yourself with a community and a team who supports you, who will do anything to help you get to your goals. The Steak and Butter Gang will give you so much support, love, connection, and guidance. You can go to sbgmeetup.com as shown on the screen, or click the links down below in the description box for more details. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit subscribe, turn on the bell and notifications to not miss my future uploads. And if you found it helpful, don't forget to hit like. I will see you all in my next video. SBG out.